Hey guys, and welcome to Real Film Rewrites, the show where we take films that had incredible potential but somehow manage to flush it all down the toilet and we give them a makeover. In this episode, I'm taking Suicide Squad and turning it into a film that's actually worth watching.
Here's your pep talk. So that's it? What, we some kind of Suicide Squad?
There's people that like this film for its visual style and its fun action. Personally, I didn't find it that fun, but these aren't the elements I have a huge problem with. My problem is with the fact that the filmmakers obviously completely misunderstood so many elements of these characters and their purpose, and mainly the purpose of the Suicide Squad itself. If you can tell me what the point of the Suicide Squad was in this film, then I'll do pretty much anything you like, because you're not going to be able to tell me. They're sent into the city to retrieve Amanda Waller because for some reason she can't actually escape on her own, and they're accompanied by some sort of SAS task force who all are so much more useful than any member of the Suicide Squad, as well as, not being horrible criminals. They are then sickeningly turned into heroes for no logical reason than, well, that's what it said in the script.
I lost one family, I ain't gonna lose another one.
Think it through.
Salute me, familia.
The squad shouldn't be heroes. They aren't heroes.
We're bad guys. It's what we do.
They should be manipulated by the government, coerced, blackmailed, bribed and threatened into doing something unspeakable, but for the greater good. You see, that's what these filmmakers didn't understand. If there's a bad guy to be fought, Batman's going to be doing it. Bad guys are Batman's bread and butter. He loves beating them up and throwing them away in Arkham. So when there's a baddie like Enchantress, you can bet Batman's going to be there to take her on, because he's a hero. But what Batman won't do, or shouldn't do, is cross his line, break his rule.
I only work in black, and sometimes very, very dark grey.
Yet sometimes the unspeakable has to be done for the greater good, and sometimes it would be in the best interest of the government for these things to happen. Yet they cannot carry out these acts themselves, as morally and ethically wrong.
If they get caught, we throw them under the bus.
And they can't expect Batman, Superman or Wonder Woman to do it because they're heroes. Enter the Suicide Squad, a group of unhinged yet just about controllable criminals who can be forced to carry out the unspeakable task, and if it all goes wrong, the government has zero accountability, as it was the bad guys who carried it out. Everyone still with me? Get where I'm coming from? Understand it yet, David Ayer? Anyway, I've rambled enough, let's get into the rewrite. So we need a mission for the Suicide Squad, and seeing as the filmmakers seem pretty insistent on having the Joker in this film, I'll keep that element as I've probably criticised them enough.
Oh, I'm not gonna kill you.
And no, he won't be belly dancing. Why the Joker? Well, if you haven't guessed it, he's a bit of a problem. And although he is always caught by Batman, he just throws him back in Arkham, where he will inevitably escape and cause havoc. And we all know, Batman isn't going to kill anybody. Okay, but he won't kill any of the main villains for some reason. Nice one, Zack Snyder. Thought that one out, didn't you? So, it's a constant never-ending circle, and maybe one day the government realised that they can't let it stand any longer. So the film opens with the Joker escaping from Arkham in an exciting, innovative prison break.
What do you want?
We can see him play some dark and harrowing pranks on the guards as he makes his escape. A dynamic, visually interesting sequence like this would grab the audience's attention from the get-go. Straight from here, we cut into a huge fundraiser at Wayne Manor. People are laughing, drinking, and having a great time. Hosted by Bruce Wayne and Wayne Enterprises for the Gotham Police and Security, the night's a raging success. At the bar, we're introduced to Amanda Waller as she approaches Bruce Wayne. The two sharing a few words about the success of the evening and how important it is to make the city a safer, better place. The conversation is interrupted as Bruce gets a phone call. Waller also gets a phone call. The Joker's broken out of Arkham. Being one of the few things I actually liked about the film, I'd keep the spirit of Viola Davis's Amanda Waller, and I didn't mind the scene where she was explaining the Suicide Squad to the military officials. I'd have a version of this scene, but the officials would turn down the idea, citing it as risky, volatile and unnecessary. They have Batman, as well as other superheroes and SWAT and SAS teams for assaults. She's disgruntled, but not deterred. So the Joker's on the loose again. Maybe we can have him do something incredibly dark, even for him, on his escape. Perhaps killing and mutilating the warden.
It's gone.
Harley Quinn can also help with the escape, but at the last minute, she's captured. The Joker leaves without her and escapes to a secret location to plan his latest attack on Gotham. When he escapes, Batman is usually straight on it, and you can have this in the Suicide Squad film, but the focus isn't on Batman, it's on the government and Waller. Having watched the Joker escape again and again, killing hundreds, Waller can no longer stand for it. She arrives in Gotham to hunt the Joker down. This could provide some great conflicts of interest between her, Batman, and even Commissioner Gordon, especially if J.K. Simmons took on the role like he is doing in Justice League. It then becomes a race as to who is going to get to him first, Batman or Waller. This not only allows for dramatic and character tension, but it also cements Waller's intelligence as she goes head to head with the world's greatest detective. Knowing she can't win, she has to play dirty, and this will also lay the foundations for the formation of the Suicide Squad. She can't afford for Batman to get to the Joker first and simply throw him back into Arkham. She has to end the chaos. As an audience, we might not agree with her methods, but we can definitely see her reasoning. She has to distract Batman. Bribing a guard and some inmates at the infamous Blackgate prison, she forces a riot to take place. The police need all the help they can get and ask for Batman's assistance. He has to go and help get the situation under control as inmates threaten to escape. This gives Waller and her team the time to locate the Joker. And they do. Holed up in an abandoned circus fairground, there's no time to waste. Waller calls in a strike team to take him out. Yet, things don't go to plan. This is the Joker after all, and he's laid traps and tricks around the park. The SAS task force has no chance. All of them are killed. Watching from a command centre, Waller is powerless to do anything. The loss of 20 or so men has somewhat changed the outlook of the military officials on the idea of the Suicide Squad. Amanda Waller goes back to them again, citing now specifically how the Suicide Squad must be used to take down the Joker. Not only are they dispensable, they can kill the Joker in any situation, plus their criminal minds will help them avoid Joker's traps. She's very persuasive, and she's given permission to form the squad. I know it seems like there's a lot of film here that doesn't have the Suicide Squad in it, but this is all just set up so that the stakes actually matter. And make sense. As the whole Joker Waller Batman storyline is playing out, we can see the different members of the squad in prison. Maybe some of them are interacting with each other. It'd be great to see more dynamics to this team. So for example, maybe Deadshot and Boomerang have had a disagreement in prison. So when they're forced to be part of this team, we can really see the animosity between them. We can also flash back to Amanda Waller's first meeting with the military officials, where she suggests the idea of the squad, and have her introduce each member. Although the over-stylisation of this part was a bit much for me in the actual film, I think something slightly more toned down might really work. And instead of introducing them all at once, we go back and forth between the action and getting to know the different members. We can also see the Harley and Joker relationship, but not in the butchered, romanticised way it's done in the actual Suicide Squad film. Have it as an actual complex relationship and take more time with it. Really show the progression. Unlike in the original, these scenes will actually have story impact later. All of this could allow for a very interesting editing style that would set it apart from a normal linear superhero film, which I think an alternative idea like this needs. So, once the team is actually brought together, we feel like we know them and some of the dynamics that we're going to see. Obviously Waller needs someone to lead and control this team, so let's get Rick Flag back, because again, he wasn't something I hated, and he can have a couple of guys with him just to help keep things under control. And obviously he needs a way to control the Suicide Squad, so the explosive chips, again, not too much of a ridiculous idea, so let's do that. But we won't have this stupid scene. Ugh. Really stupid. No, instead we'll have something more interesting. Half of the squad think that the chips are real, the other half don't. There can be a real power play between the different members as they debate if the chips are real or not. If it's all a placebo, a mind control game, it could be really, really interesting and have a lot of back and forth. Possibly later on, one of them can try and escape and end up dead, but let's use this as a device to build tension instead of, giving away the game straight away. Now the team's together, it's time for them to carry out their mission. They know that they have a target, and that's it. Deadshot is the only member who knows that the Joker is the target, as he's the one who will inevitably have to take the shot when the moment comes. So the squad head into the booby-trapped circus ground. Using their many combined years of criminal experience, they avoid the Joker's traps. Along the way, they come across the bodies of the SAS team. It's incredibly harrowing. Even a character like Boomerang, who could be a good comic relief character, is obviously shaken by the butchered men. The members of the team who don't believe that chips are real say they won't carry on with the mission. They aren't going to get themselves killed for anything. Flag and the ones that believe the chips are real order them to stay. This isn't a joke, this is real. Things turn sour pretty quickly. Flag gets ready to explode some brain chips and his men raise their guns. Not taking any notice, Slipknot attempts to leave. Instead of just blowing him up, Flag gives him 3 warnings. He doesn't respond. The squad yell for him to come back. Boomerang says if Slipknot's going, he's going too. Flag has no choice. He blows Slipknot's chip. It's suddenly serious for the squad. This is real. Flag and Waller aren't joking. They have to see this through to the end. As they maneuver one of the traps, Deadshot and Flag find themselves on their own. In hushed tones, Deadshot asks Flag what he thinks is going to happen when Harley finds out the Joker is the target. He says it doesn't matter. Just like the rest of them, she's under control. Deadshot isn't so sure. She's unhinged, broken and enslaved by the Joker. She would die before even thinking about bringing harm to him. He tells Flag to keep an eye on her. Not long after, Harley comes to the realisation that these traps they've been avoiding through the circus ground are being set by the Joker. She realises that he is their mission.
You're my friend. You're my mission.
She confronts Deadshot and Flag. She won't do it. She won't help them. She won't go on. She won't bring harm to her true love. Deadshot says that he's seen how Joker treats her. It isn't love, it's manipulation. She's being controlled by him. She retaliates. She's being controlled now. Deadshot points out at least Waller and Flag are honest about their manipulation. In any case, she doesn't have a choice. She walks away from the group. Deadshot makes sure that Flag doesn't kill her. She just needs time to calm down and get her head straight. Another member of the squad, one who was locked up in Arkham at the same time as Harley, goes to talk to her, tells her how they saw Joker leave Harley behind when he escaped. He took her along until she was useful, then left her behind. She deserves better than that. Harley explains how being left behind hurt her, how she didn't understand. He'd always said how in love they were. She starts to really think about her past with the Joker. Has he been manipulating her? Meanwhile, over at Blackgate Prison, Batman and the GCPD have gotten the rioters under control. None of them escape, but they have to get to the bottom of what happened. The police find CCTV footage of a guard disabling the cameras seconds before the security systems went down. Gordon questions him to no avail. Meanwhile, Batman hacks the accounts of the guard and finds a large transfer of money earlier that day from an unknown source. The information, Gordon points out, wasn't acquired legally and therefore cannot be used. Batman tells him to leave it to him. Unable to be charged, the guard returns home, only to find Batman waiting for him. With some slight persuasion, he tells all he knows. He was paid to do it. He had to make sure it lasted as long as possible. Batman pushes him further. Who paid him? He doesn't know. It was a woman on the phone, that's all he can say. Tracing the account, he follows the money trail back to a member of the Ministry of Defence. As he's searching, he gets a call from Alfred. The Joker's been located. There's not much time. Calling Gordon, he tells him to meet him at the circus. The squad are now closing in on the Joker. They're ambushed by Joker's henchmen, who are confused by Harley Quinn's presence. She doesn't give them long to ponder, as she and the rest of the squad take them down with ease. Deadshot readies himself to kill the Joker on sight. Harley watches him. We can't tell what she's going to do. But the Joker's not done yet. He's got a few tricks up his sleeve. He's watched them all the way, getting closer and closer, and just as they enter the main circus tent, he springs his final traps. Taken by surprise, most of the team are incapacitated. Deadshot and Harley manage to avoid the traps. The control for the explosive chips flies out of Flag's hand as he's caught and lifted up by a net. Harley Quinn notices. Deadshot gets ready to take the shot. The Joker emerges from the shadows. He claps, congratulating them on their efforts. Deadshot goes to take the shot, when suddenly Harley smashes him over the head with a bat. Then she takes the controller and destroys it. She approaches the Joker, who welcomes her with open arms. The rest of the squad think they're about to die. Harley stops a little way from him, then raises a gun, pointing it at the Joker. He raises his hands, asking her what she's doing, warning her. We see the pain in her face, the conflict, all those years of abuse and suffering and heartache boiling to the forefront. Her hands shake. He tells her to put the gun down. He steps forward. She shoots at his feet. Don't come any closer. Starting to lose patience, he turns angry, threatening her, attempting to manipulate her. She fights to keep control of herself. He takes another step. She tightens her grip on the gun. Suddenly, Batman drops from the rafters. The distraction takes Harley's attention away from the Joker, and he darts forward, knocking the gun from her hand and knocking her down. Batman flies forward, apprehending the Joker. As soon as he's secure, he assesses the scene. He can't put the pieces together. All these villains together, caught in the traps. Why are they here? Why are they together? His eyes settle on Flag. He cuts him down from the trap and asks what's going on, why he's here. He lies. He was part of the SAS task force sent here to get the Joker. He and his men were the only ones who made it this far. The rest are dead. Batman doesn't quite buy it. He looks around, finds the broken controller, and takes it. There's nothing more that can be done here. He calls in Gordon and the GCPD. They swarm in, taking the squad back into custody. Batman and Gordon talk. How was it that none of them were reported escaped? How did they get out without anyone knowing? Gordon interrogates each of the squad, to no avail. None of them will cooperate. Meanwhile, Batman digs deeper into the bank accounts that transferred the money to the guard, and manages to fix the controller that he took from Flag. He's starting to piece things together. He tracks it all to Amanda Waller. The Suicide Squad might not have assassinated the Joker, but that was Batman's fault. He interfered. In all other aspects, it was a success. She's looking through old files, searching for their next mission, when she's visited by Batman. He knows it was her. He knows this was her doing. He wants her to stop. It will only end badly. This is his city, and he's the one who will keep it safe. He's the one that will make it better. He leaves her, but she's stopped paying attention. She's thinking. That last phrase that Batman said, about keeping the city safe and making it better, triggers something in her mind. She walks over to the phone and dials. She asks the person on the end to send her everything they've got on Bruce Wayne.
Should stop working nights.
Just as the film's about to end, we see the squad being put on a plane to carry out their next mission. They're here against their will, under threat of death. But it's better than being in prison. And that's it. That's the end of my Suicide Squad film. There's still a few grey areas and some things that need ironing out, but that's what multiple drafts are for. I think if I was given 6 weeks, which, is what DC and Warner Brothers gave David Ayer, I could really fine-tune this idea into something much better than what we actually got. So what do you guys think? Does this improve on the actual Suicide Squad? What would your Suicide Squad be? Get in touch and let us know what you think. You can keep up to date with us on all the usual social media, and you can find our weekly film and TV podcasts on iTunes and Podbean. And while you're here, why not check out some more of our YouTube content? Thanks for watching, we'll see you next time.